Words with Mayor McKay.
Today we're taking a little ferry ride. We're aboard Island Mist. It's a Protection Connection ferry from Maffeo Sutton Park over to Newcastle Island. Protection Connection is running the ferry service, I believe, Bill, for the next 2 years?
Yes. I'll tell you a little secret about this little ferry. That little boat is one of two sister ships, and they're actually the ex-lifeboats off of the Queen of the North.
There's so many facts and so many things. We have our maps, but you know what? We're not even technically on Newcastle Island yet. And before we're even off the docks, you've got a personal story and memory about this piece of land over there on Protection.
That piece over there,
Yeah.
when you see just from the trees there, all the way over to the ramp over there, is the largest piece of property on Protection
It
Island.
hasn't been subdivided yet.
That's correct. And it's held by a single owner, and it's fallen into disrepair, but in the 60s, it was actually a place called Happy Land.
Is that what it was really called, or is that what your parents told you?
No, that's what it was called.
Oh.
It was called Happy Land.
Okay.
And they used to have about a dozen cabins. As you can see, there's one there that's almost ready to fall down. There's another one behind there. And they ultimately, in about 1968 or so, it changed, and it was called Lee Shore Resorts.
Okay.
And in fact, in 1969, I had my first summer job there, running the ferry back and forth to the island.
Oh, and how old were you then?
I was 14.
14! Wow. Well, that's over on Protection. We're going to explore that in part 2 because we're exploring Newcastle and Protection Island, and I think we're going to end up with a little bit of lunch at the dinghy dock over 3 parts. This is part 1. Let's get our maps and go check out what we can in our limited amount of time on Newcastle Island.
Perfect.
Okay.
We're inside the gazebo as we walked into the park, and this is a welcome center that gives you a description of the park. There's a map of the park, number of important phone numbers that you might need, and a few little bit of island etiquette.
We need to be respectful. It's a beautiful place, and we want to
Yes.
keep it that way. Okay,
So
so
then
there's
as you
all
come
kinds
around-
of factual things displayed here.
Right. So you've got protecting ecosystems. You've got Newcastle. It's a very, very diverse, biodiverse park.
Right.
You know, and of course, here's the blonde and white
And we're
raccoons.
albino. There's a big First Nations history too here, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, the First Nations, Nanaimo used to actually, just down the way here, they used to have lookouts, and they were watching for their enemies. They could look out into the Salish Sea, and they could look all the way up to the water reservoir, if you will. And they could keep an eye on things from that vantage point. It was amazing.
And there's a history of people coming here on Saturdays to camp. and picnic.
Yes. And there's actually a picture around the
Okay,
corner
we're gonna
here
go
of that.
around some
Imagine
more.
this. Imagine this. Look at these two ships. There's the Princess Victoria. There's 2 ships sitting in at the dock where they brought hundreds of revelers over here for a weekend picnic and an overnight stay. They used to have dances up at the hall, and of course, here's the Pimelots Orchestra that were playing that Saturday night. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
2.25 hours from Vancouver on the luxurious Canadian Pacific steamships. Now, while they came to Newcastle, in fact, I believe the island was owned by the CPR at the time. They actually they came to Newcastle, and the Union steamships went to Bowen Island.
Wow. Now, you mentioned the pavilion.
Yes.
And you mentioned overnights. There is camping here, and it's a bit of a self-serve kiosk that we saw, but there are group sites and individual tent sites here. There's barbecue pits that you can come and use for the day, and there's a pavilion with a canteen, or a concession, I guess it is. Is it open?
It's open, 10:30 to 5:30.
7 days a week.
Come on
Delicious
in.
food made fresh daily. This is fun, but we're not eating here. We're eating later.
Oh,
we can't eat all day.
really?
Checkers.
I
Checkers.
want a Newcastle
Let's play
smoky. Come
checkers.
on.
Let's play checkers.
My turn, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going this way. Whoa!
No.
There you go.
Okay, now you've
You're
earned
out
it.
of here.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, but you already have your crown. You're the mayor. Okay, so now I'm gonna go watch this.
Oh!
Clump cock. Oh! I got you on a double.
Oh! I didn't think you were looking.
Tie, Bill, on the game of checkers?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
okay. So we have the we've got the map here, number 48. And just a note, this map was put together by Bill Merrilees in cooperation with the Newcastle Island Society. And number 48 out of 49 different items, we've touched on maybe 2 or 3 today, McDonald Pulpstone Quarry. And Bill, you find this quite fascinating. You're intrigued by the history.
This is really, really cool. So what this thing is an auger.
An auger?
That's right, and it spins like that. You see the little teeth down there?
Yeah.
It spins, and of course that's coming from the shaft, coming from the belt, coming from the engine. And they used to lay tracks out, and it would roll on these big wheels across the track, and it would just keep moving its way forward, and then they would move it over and turn direction, and ultimately that's what you would end up with.
And that is sandstone?
That's sandstone.
And it was pulling these huge sandstone pillars, like core samples, out of the ground, and then these would be shipped all over the world, wouldn't
That's
they?
right. So Ocean Falls would have had these type of stones that would be used for grinding the wood into pulp.
Okay.
And so they obviously had augers that were much taller than this.
Right.
That's why you ended up with them 30 and 40 feet long. Single piece of sandstone, one piece. Amazing.
One piece. And this is part 1 of 3. We've explored Newcastle Island just a little bit today. Do check it out and spend some time over here for yourself. We're on our way next week to Protection Island, and I hear you're hungry.
I'm starving.
Okay, we're going to see you next week for part 2.
Red had 0 beds. 2 bad red 0 beds.
Hi, my name is David Lawrence from That 50s Barber Shop. I'm starting a charity called Fresh Start with some friends, all involving back to school and literacy and reading. If you come in September 5th, we'll be doing free haircuts if you read me a story. But then we'll also do, we're collecting back to school supplies, back to school clothes, backpacks, art supplies to give away that day. So when people come in, they can read me a story and get a free back to school haircut. And then we'll also have backpacks filled with school supplies and art supplies and used books and clothes that they can take home as well. You can check out our Facebook page, which is just called Fresh Start Back to School. We have lots of information, what we're giving away, the details of it on that Facebook page. Other than that, just come down. September 5th, we'll have people handing out the supplies. We'll have a female stylist that will be here too to do the young girls' hair. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. If you want to donate, please contact the Facebook page. If not, just bring it down to the barbershop here. We have a big stack of supplies right now going, and we'll be putting that all together before the event.
A haircut is free only if you read my dad's toy. So you have to read it, or you will not get the backpacks.
If you're not at that reading level, if you draw me a picture and describe the picture or bring in your favorite book and talk about the favorite book, that's okay as well.
Lil had 4 lollipops.
Thank you so much. We are thrilled with the amount of donations we've got so far. Please come out to the event. It's going to be really great. I'm thrilled at how much Nanaimo's been donating to this cause and thinking it's a great idea and just running with the idea. It's awesome. Thank you.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The end.
Here's an album that we pulled off the Please Ask for Assistance shelf, The Shags, Philosophy of the World. Now, these are 3 sisters whose father believed that his mother predicted that these girls would rise to stardom. So we funded this album, which has become a bit of a cult album, if I can call it that, as one of the worst albums of all time. The price tag is $75 for this. This is 2nd issue. Dave here had a few choice descriptors for the band, but we'll quote Rolling Stone, who said, "It pretty much sounds like lobotomized trap musician band members." Of course, the trap's from The Sound of Music, and this is what they would sound like lobotomized. Yeah, cool, huh? $75 for the worst album ever. And I'm sure it'll be flying off the shelves very, very quickly. We're going to throw things over now to a couple guys who are flying down the river in an inner tube.